He separates. He's to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Florida State. Warwick got on third down.
Winky looking Winky. Wants to throw the knockout punch to Warwick. Warwick open. Touchdown. He does a touchdown. He did catch it. Touchdown, Florida State. Oh, Peter Warwick, how'd you do that?
Kermit Whitfield to the left side. A hole to the 30. Kermit Whitfield to the 30. To the 20. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, FSU. Kermit Whitfield. A 100-yard touchdown.
Here's the snap. Winston rolling right. Throws the pass on the other.
It's caught. It's caught. It's caught. Touchdown, FSU. Kelvin Benjamin.
We're doing it for everybody. We're doing it big all over the country, all over the world. And I'm proud. I'm proud to say I'm a Florida State Seminole.
This is the Garnet Old podcast with your hosts, Ryan Eastman and Vince Ciccarelli.
Welcome, Garnet and Old listeners. It's Vince Ciccarelli here. Ryan Eastman, of course, is on a cruise, just like he always happens to be whenever something crushing happens to our team. But never fear, we have a guest host tonight. Probably one of the greatest fans that I know. And Garnet and Old, if nothing else, is all about fans. We're all fans. So I'd like to introduce our first guest host, Gabby Ciccarelli. There she is. Let me start here by saying that Gabby attended her first game when she was probably 6 months old, and she has one of the most well-known, like she knows so much about the game. And so when I asked her if she wanted to do the podcast with her dad, she said yes. So tonight it's really Garnet and not quite as old. So Gabby, welcome to Garnet and Old.
Thank you for having me. Garnet and youthful.
Garnet and youthful.
Garnet and young.
So no inside info, no contacts, no problem. And like I mentioned before, Ryan is on a cruise. He did text me after he woke up. He went to sleep, and we were winning 17-3, and woke up, and we were no longer winning 17-3. So let's get into it, Gabby. Give me your first impressions about the game. You know, we were watching the game here at the house. Tell me your thoughts.
I thought we looked really solid in the first half, and going on the road, especially against a ranked team, I was not expecting for us to perform as well as we did in the first half, despite some kinks that need to be worked out within practices. But I thought we looked pretty solid in the first half, and I got some mac and cheese at halftime, and all of a sudden it just went like that, and that was
pretty much
it.
Downhill after that. So
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to talk about the good and the bad because contrary to what everybody, after a loss, everybody is wanting to blame everybody, and they forget some of the good things that happened. There were good things that happened in this game. So So let's talk about the first half a little bit because there were some good things that happened in the first half. The second quarter in particular, I mean, it was almost like Norvell, like he got in a groove. He was calling plays. We were throwing the ball more and getting the ball down the field, and ended up in 17 points. So, at that point, I'm feeling pretty good, and but also knowing that we had missed some opportunities in the first half as well. So, what are some things that stuck out for you, Gabby, about the first half?
I think the first half, I thought Jordan looked very solid as he always does. He was throwing really well, and it seemed like the offensive line was really blocking for him, which has seemed to be a problem a lot this season. But he was throwing the ball well. Johnny Wilson made a couple great receptions that I think one of those ended in a touchdown. But yeah, I think that we looked really solid, and I was pleased that our kicker made a PAT. That was really awesome, and I really
Yeah, I mean, we laugh about that, but it has not been an automatic
I
thing,
know.
whether they're
I
field goals
know.
or point after kicks or anything like that. So, yeah, that touchdown throw to Micah Pittman,
Hmm.
which was a great throw and an amazing catch, another one-handed catch. I don't know what it is with our team with one-handed catches. Maybe we need to catch everything with one hand, because when we try to do two hands, oftentimes we tend to drop them. At least last night we dropped quite a few. Um, but yeah, he made his point after, and then you know made a field goal, made a
40,
lengthy field goal.
47 yards, which is amazing because a couple weeks ago we weren't making 20 yards. So very exciting for a 47 yarder. Was not expecting that. I was fully expecting a little to the left or
Yeah. So, Philip, you're right. I mean, that guy was kind of draped all over him there. But when you get a back shoulder throw like that, um, you know, that's kind of inviting the contact anyway. But I think when he caught it, he really caught it against his helmet,
helmet.
right?
There's a picture of Melina that Melina Myers took, and he literally has it on his helmet, like in
Yeah,
the
it's like
inside.
caught caught right against the helmet.
Yeah.
Um, but and that's all fantastic. But we do have to talk about really some of the things that were caused us to lose the game, and it wasn't just one thing.
Hmm.
There were a number of things that played into this loss, and of course everybody knows we're going to talk about these, so we'll just bring them up, right? Um, this is right at the end of the first quarter, and this is Malik McLean on I want to say a perfectly thrown ball, but I don't know that it can get much better than this. And he turned around and the ball's right there. So that's drop number one, and this is drop number one of five, really, during during the course of the game. So, and we don't want to say, this is the reason why we lost, but the combination of things is definitely, all all plays into it. So this is Malik McLean's drop. You can see the ball right here, just past him there by his knee. You can see it there, but that was a that was a big kick, because whether it be that or another field goal or something else that could have been accomplished by a drop after a drop, would have been the difference.
Yeah. I think that that next play there there was a similar situation. I think it was another drop on 3rd and 3, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's drop number two.
On the
Um,
other side because the
yeah,
half
because
had
they
just
because they
ended.
flipped the field, right?
Mhm.
And so this is Johnny Wilson here on drop two. They are 4th and 3 here, and he's well past the sticks, and now this defender is definitely kind of hanging on him a little bit here, but the ball was in his hands, and any receiver will tell you, um, if if the ball makes it to my hands, I should make the catch. So this is drop two, and this resulted, I think, in no points. I think we punted from here. Oh, I'm sorry. No, this is a 4th and 3, so this is a turnover on downs. So it's drop number two there. But again, like we said, second quarter itself was like a clinic on how to call offensive plays. Was impressive. It didn't always. It didn't stay that way. it didn't stay that way.
Definitely did not continue.
So we've got a comment here from Courtney. Missed opportunities, penalties, bad play calls. These were some moments that were just hard to watch. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Um,
Penalties, we had 100 yards in penalties, which is a full length of a field. So
yeah,
that's
and
terrible.
it's terrible. And it's second week in a row, really, that we've
Where
had
we had
over 100 yards in penalties, I think. So,
Mm-hmm.
when you look at the first 4 games that we played, they were played very clean. The team was kind of in sync. And the last couple games, it's just been a little, they've been off. And
Yeah.
whether it's lack of concentration, getting into the meat of the season and people being hurt, I don't know. But missed opportunities, yeah, for sure. I mean, those drops were painful, and we had too many of them. What else as far as the first half is concerned, Gabby, do you want to hit on anything else in the first half?
Um, Jordan Travis had that big run. Over I think it was over 30 yards. And I would also like to point out that he was the leading rusher for the game last night, and he had more yards than all 3 of our running backs combined. So,
Yeah, Ryan and I talked last week about that we thought we would see more of Jordan's legs in this game, and we did. There were some designed runs, and there were some that he, kind of, did on an ad lib kind of deal. But um, watching him run, it really, I don't know why we didn't do more of it. I don't know
mhm,
why we didn't do more of it. So we definitely tried to run more than we should have, I think, in the second half. But that was running back runs. I think if we had gotten more of Jordan's legs involved, I think we probably seen a lot more success with that.
mhm, I agree.
So, oh yeah. So
This
actually, I
is
think we
sec
have this queued up.
We do have this
So
queued
we
up.
have this queued up because this is a major turning point in the game, and really something from someone that you know shouldn't be making this mistake. He's older. He's seen some things, so this really shouldn't have happened. So let's watch this. This is Dylan Gibbons deciding to take it a little bit too aggressive here. And down he goes. And there's the flag. Yeah, so I mean, I can appreciate the aggression from the offensive line because, you know, we all know our offensive line hasn't had any real good aggression at all.
Several years, yeah.
Excuse me, several years, but um, that was a little bit too much, and you're going to get flagged for that. And I do believe the guy grabbed him and pulled him
Yeah.
down with him, but that was after the fact anyway. That flag was going to come regardless, I think.
Mhm.
Um,
I
yes, what Philip said that too. Looks like he was pulled down. I agree, but at that
Yeah.
point he'd already committed the crime, so
Yeah,
he
and
was just making sure the ref would see it.
yeah, and once the play was over, there should have been 2 penalties on that, in my opinion, but, he continued to tackle him after the refs had already blown the whistle, which, like you said, I can appreciate the aggression, but, fortunately, that is not okay, and after there was a commercial there because, third quarter was about to end, I believe, and, when the commercial ended and they got back to um, the game, they showed Mike Norvell still yelling at Dylan Gibbons after the commercial was over. It was like 10 minutes ago and he was still yelling at him. So, oh,
Yeah, I know we're kind of jumping around here, but this is another drop. This is Pokey Wilson. So, hey folks, our receiving core was rated the number 1 receiving core by a lot of metrics. Probably not after this game anymore. And everybody kind of joined in the fray here. Malik dropped 1, Johnny Wilson dropped 2. This is Pokey's drop. You notice Notice where we are here on the field. This is a 3rd and 20. And if Pokey makes this catch here, it's 4th and 2. So maybe you go for a field goal here, or at the very least, you got a very manageable 4th down. I mean, that yard line there is right at the 16. So it's just, again, opportunities, and receivers are not trying to drop the ball. They just had a rough game. They had a rough game.
Yeah. And
so let's see here. So I was going to talk about the defense a little bit. Talking about the defense, I've mentioned this on the podcast before. I don't look at social media during the games at all. I'm too wrapped up. But what I will do is after the game, I will go back and look through what people were saying, throughout the course of the game, to kind of watch people tell on themselves a little bit, get some receipts, right? So a couple things. People blaming the defense for, not getting enough stops. The defense played really, really well in this game,
they played
especially
really good,
considering how many people are hurt. Robert Cooper went down. Jared Jackson went out briefly in this game. So we're into our 3rd string depth on the defensive line. And, we can't get a holding call, but we should know that by now. Jared Verse was held pretty much throughout the game. And,
he went down at one point too.
Yeah, right. And I can't, for me to pull up all of the screenshots of Jared Verse getting held would be silly. But let's face it, folks, we're not going to get those calls. We can't complain about that, especially with this reffing crew. Jeff Flanagan, if you're a Knoll fan, you know that this crew is, bottom tier. So we are not going to get that call, and we're just not good enough yet to get past those calls. Let's see. We got some more comments here. I don't know. I haven't done a real hard look at a second watch of the game yet, but it could be that we had some receivers in, occupying the same space. I think if we were to watch that, we probably would see some of that, which maybe caused some confusion for Jordan Travis too. They're already not making the catches, and then they're running wrong routes, or maybe not taking the right depth on the routes. So
yeah,
I don't know.
There was I watched the condensed game earlier today. There was a few different plays, but
it's funny. I love that you're watching the condensed game. That's awesome.
It's like 30 minutes. It's much better than watching the 4-hour one. But there was a few different situations, and I think it's just the plays that we have where the receivers tend to be in the same area. There's one time it was Johnny Wilson and Pokey were in the same like 5 yards of each other, but I think that's just how the plays work because there were several of those that looked.
I think if you were to ask Coach Norvell, he wouldn't want that. So unless they're running some kind of pick play, but yeah, the receivers they did not have a great game, and that's unfortunate because it's an opportunity that we lost. Yep, I agree with you, Courtney. We put the defense.
Great insight.
We put the defense. Yeah, go ahead.
She's got some great insight today. Appreciate it.
The defense was put in some really bad spots. The offense just couldn't get going, and I don't. Like I said at the beginning of the pod here, the blame goes around. The players have to execute. There's no doubt about it. The plays are there, and they didn't make them. And then when they don't make them, it puts, the other part of the team in a really bad spot. I mean, think about the punt that Mastromano punted, past the line of scrimmage, which you heard all the announcers say, and I've heard it all day today. I've never seen that before. And could he have made it if he'd have run? Maybe. I mean, he had a blocker there, and maybe he would have made it. But they got the ball on the 13-yard line, and they just went backwards from there, right?
Yeah.
So, and of course, the kicker still made the kick.
But hey, 3 is better than 7.
3 is better than 7 when it's the opposing team. Absolutely.
Oh, no.
3 is better than 7 when it's the opposer.
Not us.
Yeah. Let me see. I've got a couple more here. Since I pulled them all up, we got to show them, right? Let's find another drop. There's so many to choose from. This is drop number 4. This is Johnny Wilson again. If you look at the defender's foot, that's the ball just past his foot there. And this ball previously was right in Johnny Wilson's hands.
He had it.
And again, not to beat people up because nobody's perfect, but you got to make those plays. You've got a ranked team at home on the ropes, and it's 3rd and 7, and this is a first down. I mean, any one of these drops would have either extended a drive or scored points.
Mm-hmm.
And we just didn't do it. So, but they're going to work to get better.
And that was a 3rd and 7 too.
That was 3rd and 7. That would have been a first down. Too much running in the second half, by the way.
I agree.
Too much running.
We would have a lot of the time it was Trey Benson. We'd have him run and he'd just get tackled right at the line of scrimmage every single time. And we kept doing it, and it just wasn't working.
Yeah, and we kept doing it, and it wasn't working. I mean, that's important. That's when I was saying that this loss is really, we all share in it. And what I mean by that is the players and the coaches. I don't understand why whatever was working in the second quarter, why you do not continue to do that. And why it was so important to try and establish an inside running game. With our line, being as average as it is, and NC State, even though their offense is not great, their defense is probably top 15. They were not going to let us run. So throw the ball. Throw the ball. And we wouldn't do it. We wouldn't do it. So that's on coaching. If there was anything that I would, let's get we got drop balls. We got penalties at bad times. We've got coaches, sticking to a game plan that wasn't working. So that's what, it's not one thing. It's a combination of those things. And even with the combination of all those things, still had a chance to win it at the end of the game. This team is capable of beating anybody on the schedule. And they're also capable of losing to almost everybody on the schedule.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, we've seen that. But, hey, let's talk about something good now.
Okay, let's talk about something good. That's what this is why, I had to pull Gabby in, because I think if we'd have had Ryan here, it would have been a lot of tears. Ryan probably would have been drinking. And but Gabby is positive. She's the positive one. So
sometimes.
Go ahead. Give me some positives.
Ryan Fitzgerald made a kick. It's crazy.
It's your go-to.
That's the only thing I've been talking about. 47 yards. It's insane.
Yeah, it was a good kick.
It was a good kick. And how happy his teammates were for him after it was insane. And they showed a clip of Jordan Travis running up and hugging him, and it was the sweetest thing I've seen all season. And hopefully he's out of his little mental block, because we could use some help.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be that that's all it takes.
It's just a good kick, he's on the road. It's a
On the road,
crucial moment that we needed.
yep, is the end of the half, and we needed that. Right prior to that, um, they had run a very a special teams play, which I have never seen, where Micah Pittman just faked everyone out
Thought
like
he
he
was
was going
about
to
to
catch the
catch it.
ball,
It was
and
on
then
the
all
other
of
side of
us,
the
and then all of a sudden, Pokey Wilson is running down the sideline. I had no idea what happened. I thought
Well,
somehow he lateraled the ball back to him,
I
but
thought we
that
fumbled
play
it.
set up that play set up that field goal, so it was awesome.
Yeah.
Courtney, you're right, Courtney. The interception play at the end of the game could have been prevented by running. But I don't fault them going for the touchdown there.
Yeah.
I just don't. And again, when I was saying that, when I'm looking at social media posts and watching people tell on themselves for weeks now, all I've heard is we should never kick again. We should never kick again. We should never kick again. And then when the coach gets aggressive at the end of the game and it doesn't work, then everybody wants the coach fired because he should have kicked. So you're not allowed to have it. Well, you are allowed to have it both ways because we're fans, right? We get to do that. But, I have no problem with going for the touchdown.
And I just can't there's poor FSU football's Instagram comment section it's just terrible. And just, I mean, 2 weeks ago, you guys were ready to put him in the Hall of Fame, and now we're back to fire Norvell. He's the worst coach in the FBS.
Yes. Celebrating. I'll celebrate the positive, the kick. Micah Pittman's touchdown catch. Jordan running, the best that he's run in several games. The defense played really well.
Mm-hmm.
People stepping up. Patrick Payton, Leonard Warner had a great game. So, I mean, there are positives. There weren't enough winning plays made at crucial points of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to celebrate some more field goals being made. That would be great.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Boy, a lot of comments tonight. This is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, for the fans, and I guess fans, short for fanatic, right? People lose their minds. They love their team. They're passionate about their team. They will say things that they don't mean in the heat of the moment. Norvell's not going anywhere. Norvell is worlds better than where we were.
Absolutely.
I don't know if he is the coach that's going to take us to the mountaintop, but I do know that he's building a solid foundation that could get us, that probably will get us back. Whether he's here for it or not, I don't know. But their loss isn't solely on him. And for people that are saying that it is, it's just heat of the moment. You got to blame someone, right, when things don't go your way.
But at the end of the day, he is the one that is coaching them. But at the end of the day, the players are the ones that are on the field making the plays. Norvell's just standing on the sideline. So I think blaming Norvell for Jordan Travis throwing an interception is a little far and not his fault per se.
Yeah, I mean, that interception at the end of the game, let's talk about that. That interception at the end of the game is the same play. And you probably, if you listen to any podcasts or watch any replays or anything, it's the same play that they scored on earlier in the game. But one of two things happened here. Either Micah Pittman got bodied off the route and he kind of stumbled, or Micah Pittman realized that the defender had outside leverage on him and he broke the route inside. Either way, that's a sight adjustment from Jordan to see that, and I think maybe he got I think he just pulled the trigger a little too quickly there, because I think if he makes that sight adjustment and Pittman is adjusting to do like a seam route, then he maybe scores. I mean, it's possible that he walks in with that.
Beautiful ball, though. Oh my gosh.
What's that?
The pass he threw was amazing. So sad it went right to the NC State defender's hands, but that was a beautiful ball.
Yeah, for sure. It's easy for us to, we're calling plays from our couch. I do it all the time. It's like, why would you? That play didn't work. Why did you call that play? This is the Bobby Bowden quote that everybody's been saying this year, right? First you lose big, then you lose small, then you win small, then you win big. And just because you're in the win small mode doesn't mean you might sometimes lose small. I didn't expect to go undefeated this year. I'm just like, this one's disappointing, right? Because this one we were the better team, really dominated the first half, and we just let it slip through our fingers because we couldn't make plays.
Yeah, it was right there, and that's what I call this the game day loss hangover Sunday, because everyone in my house is all walk out this morning. Mom goes, "Hi, how you doing?" Not great.
If there's ever any doubt to the emotions of the fandom of our household, it should be no doubt.
Yeah.
Players have to execute. That's right. I mean, the drops we showed them, right? There's another drop. I guess I should show that, the last one that could have made a difference. This is drop number 5, and this is Marqueston Douglas. He's a tight end that's really coming along, actually, and you can see here we're 3rd and 10. He's well past the sticks here, and that ball is almost to him. Now this defender here, 32, I can't remember who that was. He had a pretty good game. He definitely is going to rough him up a little bit, but that ball makes it to Douglas before that defender gets there. And, again, you got to make the catch. If you think about it, of the 5 drops, obviously if McLean catches his, that's another 7 points, right? So we win the game. But of any of those other 4 are made, it probably changes the outcome of the game as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
could have given us a more comfortable lead.
Extends a drive
that we needed, and
extends a drive or keeps the ball away from them. I also saw some people saying about how we got beat by a backup quarterback. It's not what happened. It's not what happened in that game.
We beat Louisville with our backup quarterback, so it's
he won. That backup quarter won that game. We could not make plays in this game.
Yeah.
And by the way, that roughing the passer call was not great. John Bellardino. John's a longtime listener, watcher. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I don't know that I've seen a penalty from him that's that egregious, though. Maybe something more along the lines of a false start or something, or a hold. But the culture is great. Yeah, I think the culture is awesome right now, and I don't think they're going to quit. You're right. I have this down in my notes, John. No one thought we'd be 4-2. Again, last week I said no one thought we'd be 4-1. The thing that hurts is we should be 5-1 right now.
We should be 6-0, but that's just me.
I'm okay with the Wake Forest loss. I mean, they really put it to us to a large degree. But I agree. This one we should be 5-1 right now.
But those were 2 winnable games.
They were both winnable. Thank you, Philip. Nothing better than Garnet Old. We try to keep it. We try to put the emotion in it, but not go off the deep end, right?
That's right.
We're not firing anybody.
Yeah.
we're
Well,
not putting the blame on someone specifically.
yeah. One thing I will say is that last couple of years, I've been off my FSU's playing today. Gosh, I'm gonna need to take my heart pill. But this year I've been really I'm very proud of Jordan Travis and Mike Norvell for they're really getting a good culture together that we haven't had in a long time. Probably, honestly, I want to say since Bobby. So
Yeah. Yeah, Ronald, you might be right about that. I mean, his first interception was probably the worst throw I've seen him make in a long time, maybe since the first year he was the quarterback. But I don't know. That could be like he's
that's what
hesitating or something.
that's why maybe we were running so much last night too, is because we couldn't after those first couple drops is when we started running a lot more.
Yeah,
And
I don't know. Could be. But when you have a 6'7" receiver, just throw the ball up in the air.
I know.
Throw the ball up in the air.
Don't say that.
Even if he drops it every now and then. Yeah, Courtney, you missed the opening of the show. We actually called it this, Garnet and Not So Old. Garnet and Youthful.
Garnet and Youthful.
Yeah. Man, I got to keep up with all these comments here. What was worse, that roughing the passer or one called for Tom Brady? That roughing the passer was horrible.
It was pretty bad. That might have been the worst call of the game.
I mean, I guess they could say, when he came down, his hand hit him on the helmet, but man, first of all, he's being blocked. And
That's true.
And it's just, there's no malintent to it. And it's a Flanagan crew call. What are you going to do?
Flanagan.
And again, kept him in the game. Two losses with this culture any day.
I agree.
Receivers had butter hands last night. Yeah. I mean, we're all on the same page here. Garnet and Old listeners, we are all on the same page here. I want to take this moment here to make sure that we remember, like John said a little bit ago, this team still has everything in front of them. Clemson's going to be a tough ask. The crowd's going to be crazy. It's going to be a great environment.
Night game again.
It's a night game again. 7:30 p.m. in Doak. We'll be there. Garnet Old will be there. We'll be in lot 12. Ryan will be back from his cruise. You'll be able to spot him. He'll be the one with the really egregious sunburn. But yeah, we'll be in lot 12. We'll have some Garnet and Old swag if you come by. Philip got his Garnet and Old swag last game. But yeah, it's going to be a tough ask to have them beat Clemson. NC State and Clemson are the toughest defenses we're going to face this year, and they're back-to-back. The offense is already sputtering. So, but I do think we can win. I don't know that I'll pick us to win, but I do think we can win.
Last night, Ty goes, I didn't even pick us to win. I was like, why would you do that? But honestly, I'm not going to pick us to win against Clemson either. So
in my heart of hearts, I didn't think we would win this past weekend, yesterday. I thought we could win, but I didn't think we would. It's just, it's tough how it played out because we had them dead to rights, and we just couldn't finish the deal. So that's a culture thing too, and they're working through that. If I could make any recommendation to our listeners, that is, don't fall prey to the Lunatic Fringe on social media. It's just craziness out there right now. Give it a few days to settle in before you go back in the pool. let the chlorine kind of clean it up a little bit. It's crazy right now, and every now and then, if you are in there, and I mentioned this a few pods ago, if you see me laugh at a post, that's me basically telling someone that they're a fool.
Yeah.
So if you see my laughing emoji on any post, that's what that means.
Mom, she's
Yeah,
so optimistic.
Shannon will pick us over anybody. Shannon will pick us
Against
over
Alabama.
The 1980 Pittsburgh Steelers. So, and I appreciate that. I love that about her. Yeah.
Yeah.
This team will not give up.
Very
That is
true.
a hallmark of this team so far this year. And I know it gutted them, because I know we saw it happen, but they're living it.
Mm-hmm.
They know they had that game. So does that motivate them to just put in a little more effort? Probably. But I also hope it doesn't cause them to press,
Mm-hmm.
because you have to play within yourself and you have to play together as a team. So, whew. Yeah, you got to, John. I'm telling you, get away from social media. If you, I know it's hard for people to do that. It's just not worth it. It's just
It's
not
really
worth it.
not.
It's fun when we're winning big. Don't get me wrong. But if there's any kind of dilemma in the game, it's just, like I said, lunatic fringe.
Yep.
Sure.
I'll take it.
Sure. That's what I said. Gabby, we could beat anybody else. We could win every game that's on the schedule.
I agree.
On a one-off, we could beat any team left.
I
But
completely agree. I just
the
think
odds
that
of that are not great. But if we could
yeah,
beat Clemson, that'd be great.
that would be I take it. Now here's a
Marching Chiefs shout out here.
here's here's a question for our listeners. Would you rather beat Clemson or Florida? Now,
Oh, there you go. That's a great question, Gabby.
if you had to pick one, and you do,
Let's see. You guys that are watching, Gabby's posed the question. You have to pick one, Clemson or Florida. What's it going to be?
Clemson is top 10, and that both in Miami. Yes.
We're all greedy.
Okay.
We're all greedy.
I picked both as well.
Yeah.
I'd like to get back in the rankings, though. I will say that. Florida.
There you go. There's someone's going to commit.
That's right. I know. I don't think I can bear to lose to Florida another year. So
Yeah, it's Florida. Absolutely.
it's Florida. Always beat UF. Yep.
Yeah. Well, do we have any final comments here, Gabby? I think we've hit everything. We talked about the fans. We talked about play calling and the punts and drops and refs, and
I think we talked about everything.
I think we did.
I think we did. We hit everything.
We did.
That's right. More clout.
I got to get through these comments because people are pushing them in here. Florida, Clemson, then Miami. Yeah.
Florida. Hello, Matthew.
Matthew says, hello, Matthew.
Go to bed.
I like Gabby's hat. I like Gabby's hat too. Well, we thank everybody for joining. And Gabby, thank you so much for being our guest host on Garnet and Younger today. We will have another. We'll have our Clemson preview show later this week, and probably be Thursday, probably around Thursday. That's things have settled by then. We'll get some injury reports. We didn't even talk about Trayshawn Ward. That's kind of a bad deal. But yeah, you're welcome, Ronald. Thank you for watching, everyone. And if you are coming to the Clemson game, bring
Come to Lot
your
12.
loudest voice and be ready to scream and come by Lot 12. And that's right. We've been grooming Gabby for her debut since she was 2. Gabby, you want to do the tag?
I'll do the tag.
Yeah, you can close us out.
All right. No inside info, no contacts, no problem. See you soon back on Garnet and Old.
Go Knowles.
Go Knowles.